Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in to Carolina Food Desert today. It's April 7th. We're mainly checking on our flower and strawberry plants. We'll also be installing a quick, affordable, hybrid in-ground raised bed garden for some cucumbers and maybe some melons. But first, look at the strawberries here, or lack thereof. Last week this was a nice flower and strawberry patch with about 6 different organic strawberry plants in it, but somebody decided to mow it down with one of those petroleum-powered industrial lawnmowers. That's alright. I got plenty of other strawberry patches. Even got some in the hanging baskets. First little strawberry patch over here. Got lots of nice strawberry flowers coming on. Strawberries. We talked before about how strawberries are a great thing to grow at home because they're so high on the pesticide residue list, and they're also pretty expensive in the store. I expect I'll be getting probably at least 300 or 400 organic strawberries this year. I probably got about 30 plants scattered across the backyard. Last year I think I harvested 320 some odd berries. Lost about a third of them to slugs and roly-polies. But that's alright. I'd rather just plant more and plan to lose some instead of having to worry about synthetic pesticide exposure. We also got some French cantaloupes that seem to have really great germination. Mustard garden's doing good. This loquat tree's putting on some new leaves for the spring. Oregano's getting out of control. Got this oregano shrub here. Got another oregano shrub over here in the strawberry patch. Got a couple of containers that the oregano is already overtaken. I found some red spider mites on some of my French cantaloupes today on the first true leaves. We talked before about the importance of being out in your garden every day scouting for pests. If you can catch things early before they become problems, you can avoid a lot of headaches and ensure that you're getting the most nutrient-rich organic produce you can and not have to worry about insect or disease issues. Here we got the Coulee Black Incan corn. It's got a 190-degree growing season, should get 15 feet tall. Got some cool sunflowers in here. Also some Carolina Cross record-setting watermelons. Permaculture plot here is doing good. We got lots of flower and sweet peas. Staking those up some tree branches I cut down last year. We got a lot of invasive tallow trees, the Triatica sebifera in the neighborhood here, and occasionally I cut down the limbs and use them as tomato stakes or pea stakes. It's an excellent way to make use of an invasive plant. The wood's also quite rot resistant, has really high lipid content. Purple potatoes, blue potatoes over here doing pretty good. I've been trying to bury these. We talked about how potatoes are Solanaceae tuberosum. They will form tubers all the way up that stalk, all the way up to the leaves. So as your potato plants grow, you can continue to bury them all the way up to the leaves, and you'll increase your harvest of potatoes vertically. We got the tomatoes coming on and tomato maker compost here. And then at the end of our permaculture plot, this is where we're going to be installing our new cucumber garden here. And I might have the cucumbers run up this fence. That way I don't have to worry about trellising them. I got a couple little mustard plants I probably need to eat pretty soon, but basically, so what we did here was, instead of going through all the trouble of, buying concrete blocks or nice wood and making a traditional raised bed, we're going in ground, but we're providing such an abundance of soil amendments and mulch that it's going to be raised off the ground. This is an interesting and affordable way to kind of mix the benefits of both in-ground and raised bed gardening. So basically all we have to do here is we just take a chunk of grass and we remove the grass. I generally use like a rake or a hoe because we don't want to be burning petrochemicals with some rototiller nonsense, and it's also good for you to get some exercise. So get out the hoe or the rake and remove that layer of grass, and then just kind of beat up the ground underneath. And if you live where I do, got a lot of Carolina clay, it's important that you mix in an abundance of organic matter to break up some of that clay. So today I'm using cow manure and mushroom compost, both of which are fairly affordable. So I dumped 2 or 3 40-pound bags of cow manure on here, and one 20-pound bag of mushroom compost. You could also use other types of manure. And we're just going to sort of mix in our compost and manure with the soil here. And I'm going to form up some nice raised bed rows, and we'll be planting cucumber melons and maybe a couple other melons in here later this evening. It's supposed to rain tonight. That's always a good time to plant seeds before you're expecting a light rain. I need to start picking sweet peas here. But one interesting thing that I thought about showing y'all today, so the sweet pea, we know that's a legume, and it's going to have relationships with bacteria that are going to fix nitrogen for us. But it's also interesting to look at some wild peas, and we can see here that these plants are very small. They might have some type of ruderal strategy, but we can clearly see tendrils here. And if we look at the flower morphology, we're going to compare this to our cultivated sweet pea. And I'm not sure how good the resolution on here is going to be, but you'll notice a significant size difference, but highly similar morphology. And it's just interesting to think about how over thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of years, both man and animal have selected for certain traits in domesticated crop species. And we can sort of look at some of the progenitors of those crop species. And we can compare these plants here and learn a lot. So we can see both the structure of the tendrils is very similar, but the size of the tendrils is very different. Looking at the flower form here, there's certain peas that are in the genus Clitoria. Won't go into further detail about that. So these here are going to be the sugar snap variety of sweet pea, and I'm going to pick these before the pods are fully mature, and I'm going to eat the pods as well. I can't really see with the glare on the phone here, but hopefully y'all could see the resemblance between our wild sweet pea and our cultivated sweet pea. But I have noticed that I'm running out of time here on my video, and there's probably a couple other things that I should show y'all. The blueberries are also in full flower. I got 5 blueberry bushes here, and one of them is the native South Carolina blueberry, which is fairly uncommon. It's been flowering for about 2 weeks now, and should get an abundance of organic blueberries here this year. Got more melons coming on in clay pots. It's funny, all 3 of these seeds germinated, and they're all 3 different types of melons, so I'm going to leave them here and just have a little study of competition. It should be interesting. In the in-ground permaculture plot here, everything's doing great. I need to rip up these brassicas here as soon as it's finished setting seed. I'll have thousands of cabbage seed. I won't have to buy cabbage seed for quite a few years probably. Need to eat all this mustard. I also noticed there's a bunch of asparagus that just germinated in the permaculture plot, which is interesting because asparagus is one they consider to be a family vegetable. You can plant asparagus and enjoy it for generations. I planted that asparagus probably 2 or 3 years ago and didn't see anything. And now it's all coming up in nice borders. Blue potatoes over there doing good. My vertical plots, I need to water these more. They're drying out too much. I had to use city water for the first time.